word I forgot to mention the name of the speech, and the name of the speech is the Unsung Son. Unsung. What was that?
No, unsung, it's called the Unsung Hero.
The Unsung Hero. Okay, thank you. Sorry about that.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and guests, I was a hockey hero. Now, this is an improbable statement for two reasons. The first reason is because I couldn't play hockey, or at least I couldn't skate. I suppose I was okay with the hockey stick, but when I was on the ice, I needed it to support myself. And the second reason why this was an implausible statement was because I was playing for the University of Toronto Faculty of Music hockey team, known as the Maulers. Not Maulers the way you might think, but Maulers after the famous composer Gustav Mahler. We used to gather around our goalie just prior to the game, and where other teams would tap him on his pads with their sticks or pat him on the back to encourage him, we would sing a chord. Maulers, 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 in perfect harmony. The other teams would look at us with absolute disbelief. But sometimes it did tend to work to our advantage because it lulled them into a sense of complacency. That team was composed of excellent musicians and mediocre hockey players, of which I was probably the most mediocre. For years, we were the doormat of the league. And certainly for the first 3 years that I was there, we had never once made the playoffs. But in my last year, they had recruited a couple of half-decent hockey players. And to our surprise, we found ourselves in the quarterfinals for the first time in a very long time. Good news, right? Wrong. We were playing against the top team. These guys were big. They were strong. They were tough. They were mean. And they took their hockey very seriously. We didn't stand a chance. And we knew it. So we went into that game relaxed, determined to do the best that we could and try and keep the spread from getting too far apart. Well, by the end of regulation time, it was 1-1. We couldn't believe it. We looked at each other and said, you know, we have a real shot at this. A lucky bounce of the puck, and we could win the game. Victory would be ours. So for the next 10 minutes of overtime, that bunch of ragtag players played some of the best hockey of their lives. And then 10 minutes in, the coach looked down the bench and saw that the guys were tired and saw that I was relatively fresh because I'd been sitting on the bench, and made the fateful decision to put me into the game with the encouraging words, Cummings, try not to score in your own net. So I jumped over the boards, and not long afterwards, somebody passed me the puck. And I can still see in my mind's eye what happened next. As I reached for the puck, I, of course, lost my balance and my feet flew out from underneath me. And as my arms were flailing in the air, I had the presence of mind to take the stick with one hand and hit the puck off in the general direction of the net. As if in slow motion, it rolled down the ice. The goalie didn't even move for it. It was as if he was saying, "Oh, you're not wasting my time with a weak shot like this, are you?" And then, at the last second, as it became apparent that puck was going right on the net, the goalie lunged for it and missed. And the puck went in the net. For the first time in history, the Gustav Mahler hockey team was in the semifinals, and I had scored the big goal in overtime to put us there. I was a hockey hero. Well, fellow Toastmasters, my career as a hockey hero did not last long. And now I know what a real hero is. In fact, I'm convinced that we're surrounded by what I like to call the unsung heroes of this world. And I can name a few: doctors, firemen, policemen, humanitarians. Even here in Toastmasters, we have our heroes, the great speakers, the great leaders that inspire us. And then it occurred to me, you know what? It's not that difficult to become an unsung hero. All it takes is a decision. A decision to be a mentor. A decision to be a teacher. A decision to be a leader. To take more responsibility. To do more than we're doing right now. Fellow Toastmasters, to be a hockey hero is at best a nebulous benefit to society. We can be so much more. They say that every great accomplishment starts with a small step. Let's agree to take that step today. Let's agree to do something more. Let's agree to attempt the improbable. And if we do, together we can accomplish far more than we ever would have thought possible. Mr. Toastmaster.